Not unlike Faison before me, my civic engagement journey over the past 4 years has been quite a roller coaster. Though most Bonners commit to one site for all 4 years, through a succession of unusual circumstances, I've had 3. And if you count my academically driven service sites and my summer internships, I've volunteered with 8 nonprofit organizations during my time here at UR. My service has therefore been a bit disjointed, occasionally making huge leaps from one issue area to another, rather than flowing on a continuous path from point A to point B. My first site placement was with William Byrd Community House, and more specifically Birdhouse Market, their locally sourced weekday neighborhood farmers market. My first year was really just getting to know the market, but in my second year with William Byrd, I dove into creating weekly educational activities for the under 12 market crowd. Snapchat courtesy of Faison. Who else? This was familiar and this was safe. In high school, I had volunteered with a nature museum, assisting with environmental education programs, and I spent many summers as a camp counselor. I loved every second of my time at Birdhouse Market, but I really didn't push myself to branch out through my service. My favorite part of working at Birdhouse Market wasn't the work itself, but the people. I got to know the market regulars and the other volunteers. Best of all, I got to know Anna Edwards, who was the market manager at the time. Anna started out as my supervisor, but quickly became a mentor, and today I'm proud to call her my friend. I may not have pushed myself to branch out and grow during my time at Birdhouse Market, but Anna certainly did. She encouraged me to push the boundaries of my opinions and think about the socioeconomic issues I was encountering in my academics and service in new ways. Anna also pushed me to get out and explore Richmond, and I don't know that I would have fallen in love with this city if she hadn't. So I fully credit Anna with nurturing my desire to stay in Richmond after I graduate in a month. In the same semester that I started volunteering with Birdhouse Market, I enrolled in a first-year seminar course taught by Terry Dolson and Sylvia Gale. Each week, we went to Bon Air Juvenile Correctional Center and worked with young men and women nearing the end of their juvenile sentence. Each student in the class got paired with one young adult in the center, and we helped them to tell a story that was meaningful to them. I continued volunteering at Bon Air the semester after the class ended and was paired with a sweet young woman with a rough home life. Each week, we chatted about her life, how her classes were going, and her plan for life after Bon Air. She would always ask me to tell her what the big news stories of the week were, because she felt disconnected from the world she was about to re-enter. Our last week together before her release, she wrote me a truly heartfelt note about how much our conversations had meant to her. I still have it, and I hope she's doing well. These early service experiences at Birdhouse Market and at Bon Air were all about relationship building for me. There is such power in connecting with another person, especially someone who is so drastically different from you, and there's something really humbling about reflecting on your shared humanity. After my sophomore year, I took a big leap. I boarded a plane to Rarotonga, Cook Islands, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I was so excited to connect my major in environmental studies with the passion for nonprofit service I had fostered in the Bonner program. I had received a civic fellowship for this trip, and Dr. David Kitchen was my faculty mentor. I did so much research on climate change and its effects on small island developing states in the weeks leading up to my trip, but when I got there, people weren't really talking about it. My colleagues at Tehuacari Society were, of course, but the most pressing environmental issue wasn't rising sea levels. It was the fact that almost everyone on the island burned their trash, breathing in toxic fumes, letting their kids play in toxic ashes, and contributing to pollution in the lagoon. My expectations weren't just different from reality, they were flat out wrong. I think this journey was the beginning of my realization about authoritative storytelling. The story I had heard about these small Pacific islands from professors, in the news, and from international nonprofits was a simple one. Sea level rise is a significant threat, and people are worried about it. But the narrative was so much more complicated than that. The story others were telling about Rarotonga wasn't the story that Rarotonga wanted to tell about itself, and that is an important distinction. When I came back to Richmond that August, I got some pretty sad news. William Byrd Community House was closing. We were able to finish out the market season, but then I was left without a service site. Luckily, Alexandra Byram at UR Downtown approached me with an idea for an environmentally focused exhibition in the downtown gallery space, and I jumped right in. We worked with Trip Pollard at the Southern Environmental Law Center and Dean Whitbeck, a photographer at the Visual Arts Center, to tell the story of transportation in the Richmond region. We had planned from the beginning to feature Richmond leaders doing great work on transportation, but to me, it was important to pull in the perspectives of the people actually using Richmond's public transportation too. This exhibition wasn't about the problems with Richmond's transportation system. It was hopeful and forward-thinking and bursting with opportunity. The You Are Downtown exhibition reinforced what I had been learning throughout my years of service piece by piece. There is power in letting people tell their own story. And when those people don't have the ability to tell their own story, we can use our privilege and connections to help get their stories out there for others to hear. My learning and growth in the Bonner Scholars Program has expanded beyond the boundaries of my service sites. The 4 cornerstones, first-year trip, sophomore exchange, junior journey, and senior retreat, have provided me with further opportunities to connect with others and reflect deeply on my place in the community. Junior journey was especially beneficial for me. I helped plan this cornerstone as a junior class representative, and we intentionally decided to focus the experience on personal values because it's something we don't often discuss in other areas of the program. In one of the sessions, we were asked to prioritize our values, listing the most important as core values and others as very important, somewhat important, or not important. In my junior year, my values reflected an intense focus on professional success and career building. I listed values such as responsibility, leadership, respect, and independence, with family standing alone as the only value really tied to my personal well-being. I was able to do this activity all over again just a few weeks ago as an advisor to the junior class, and this time around, my values focus on the personal rather than the professional, with words such as learning, growth, relationships, and balance. I think this shift is indicative of how far I have come, from someone constantly stressed about what comes next to someone working hard at living a little more in this moment, cultivating meaningful relationships with others, and striving for inner happiness rather than an outer facade of success. Though it has taken me a while to get to this point, I now strongly believe that my primary focus should be on becoming the best version of myself possible. And my academics, career, relationships, and future path, whatever that may be, will be better because of it. This year, as a senior program associate for the UR Bonner Scholars Program, I've been able to share some of what I've learned with younger Bonners and play a small role in shaping the Bonner program for years to come. I feel incredibly grateful for all of the opportunities that have been given to me simply because of my involvement in this extraordinary program, and I feel even more grateful for the lasting friendships I've gained here. Though my journey through the Bonner Scholars Program has been challenging at times, I have come out of every experience having grown both professionally and personally, and I have no doubt the skills I've gained will shine through in every role I take on in the future. I joke that I've perfected the art of getting paid to do fun things, crafting with kids at a farmer's market, living on a South Pacific island, traveling around the city for photographs. But what I've drawn from those experiences is worth so much more than words can even express. I'm still not exactly sure what I'm doing after graduation, but I do know this. I love learning, and being a Bonner Scholar has taught me that I learn the most when I listen with intention and dig a little deeper to uncover how their story intertwines with mine. Thank you.